Ladies, gentlemen, everyone between and around those two poles, I welcome you very dearly. It's a pleasure to have you here, and as you can see, we are at the last part of the 5 Fists of Pim. 5 Fists of Pim is, if you haven't seen the other videos on this process, I suggest you stop here and look at them first. 5 Fists of Pim are our new adventurer group, and I thought I'd do an artwork on them. So these are the finishing touches. We do some background, we do some shadows, lights, and I talk a little how I would construct, now with over 25 years of experience, my first adventure if I would start being a DM. So basically you will experience fear, panic, and the strong urge to give up before your first DM session. That's okay. We all feel that way, and it gets better. But I would say if you don't fear to disappoint the players, you're not in it with your whole heart. So don't want to messing something up is a good sign. Don't think that just because it is a bad feeling, it is a bad sign. No, you care, you want to make a good adventure, so that's a good thing, that you are not careless about it. So, what are we talking about here? I have written down 7 pillars how I construct a first adventure for a new group or a new campaign, and I like to keep the first session in every campaign pretty simple, because the players want to show their characters. They want to learn how this new ability of the sorcerer works compared to the barbarian they normally play, and such things. So the first adventure, and that's a good thing, the first adventure players play with their new characters should be easier as the other sessions later. Don't be afraid of the later sessions. You will find out that as soon as you have a little plot and some NPCs they can interact with, it becomes easier to DM later games as the first games. Be sure about that, no worries. So, the pillars, how I would construct my first adventure if I were starting. First and foremost, I would offer the players to play a little with their characters in the environment. Give them 5 minutes to enjoy the first step from the boat to the port and find out how beautiful the world is that you made up in your mind. Describe them, the streets, the buildings, how they look like. Maybe you want to search the internet for some inspiration of old European medieval cities. Not to show them the pictures. I would suggest that you are not showing pictures, but to describe them. Description is, in my experience, always better than showing, and it looks exactly like that, and showing them a picture. Not at least, because they will nail you on what they have seen. They will say, I go in that alley and hide behind that tree, and in your idea there wasn't even a tree. So first of all, the first pillar is 5 minutes of environmental interaction. Probably they don't know each other, or they know each other in groups of 2 players, and that's fine. So let them interact with the world first a little. So second, the heroes meet, and they should identify each other as not hostile. So a good way to do that is to bring them together in a problematic situation. For example, my eldest friend brought us together with just an attack of goblins for a festival we attended with our heroes. So it was clear that we all want to slay the goblins, and we had a common interest in that situation. It doesn't have to be an attack. It is always a good thing if you can start with a teeny tiny fight, but it shouldn't be the strongest fight they have ever seen, because they are new to the situation of their of their characters. The characters don't know each other. You are probably a new DM, so take it easy. If it is a fight, choose easy opponents of them, or you you lower them down, or you water down your rolls. So that's one option. The other option is that a peasant with a problem approaches them, and them doesn't have to mean that they already have been interacting. It could be that they are on an bazaar, on a market, and they are not interacting with each other at all because they don't know each other, but there is this yelling person who has scars and is dirty and had bruises, and or he is coughing and is ill, and yeah, you get the picture. You provide something, some common base of interest for them, some sort of a problem. Another option is that, and that's especially good for shy players who don't want to be in the front. You can just take the contractor who wants to have a problem solved, gathering them. Oh, I heard you are coming from the city of Cam, and you are the finest of their town's guards fighters. So would you mind to look into this problem I have? Let's meet today in the evening, and something like that. And you can use a contractor to gather them all. I'm not at all a friend of this you meet in a tavern thing, because it is so written through. It is even an stereotypical joke. It is not even a stereotype itself. It is, as a joke about D&D, already stereotypical. So I'm not a friend of the tavern thing. But basically, what do we have? We have the pillar 1, the environmental 5-minute interaction for each player and character on their own. The heroes meet. You guide them through a little problematic scenario, and they learn the first piece of the problem ahead. This might be that the contractor actively tells them, listen, people are going missing in area XYZ, or it could be that they find out, okay, this peasant had the plague, and we need to find out with whom he was in contact or anything alike. They get the first piece. Then they have to make research. You can bring in your, this is the fourth pillar then. They have to make research, they have to move. You can bring in some NPCs and provide them with sources of information. Maybe they split up. I would not recommend it to them, but some people do, okay? But basically they make research. You can use libraries, you can use archives, you can use informed NPCs where they need to work a little to get their attention. For example, an knight who was on an holy quest, or an high priest who doesn't want to talk to anyone, would be some. Make it interesting. Basically, fourth pillar is just the way to get to more information. The fifth pillar is pretty short. Like the third pillar is just an add-on to meeting the contractor or meeting the cause of the problem. The fifth pillar is just an add-on to the research, the move, or maybe an fight encounter they had in the fourth pillar. The fifth pillar is that they find the second piece of the problem. And now they are the most informed people on the problem, which directs them to either a solution or to the source of the problem, to the bad guy. And yeah, they have to run. And now they go into into the final encounter, which can be a social encounter, but be honest, in role-playing games, the final encounter of the first session honestly should be a fight scene. They should fight their first bad guy, not the big bad evil guy, but they should fight their first antagonist. And I don't say they should win, but if you don't want to play 1,000 sessions of first games, you make it interesting, but not too challenging for them. And yeah, as soon as the bad guy is down on the ground, the important part comes, the reward. You have to reward the players and the characters, and you can see this differently. Some players prefer a good story and being rewarded as players. Other players just see it 1 to 1. So they see a synchronity between their character being rewarded and they are rewarded. But give them 1 or 2 items, give them some money, and a big thank you from the contractor or from the people from the area. And yeah, basically those are 7 good pillars for a very first adventure. I understand you maybe want to go big and you want to make your first adventure bam, but it is the same thing with the first adventure as it is with every one-shot that I was part of. If you are doing the extreme, the session becomes too complicated. Later sessions should be complex and full of required understanding of what this NPC does and what this antagonist has as a background. But the first session should be pretty simple. First pillar, 5-minute environmental interaction. Second pillar, the problem appears to the players. The add-on to that second player is that they learn the first piece of the problem. Then they either make research, they have to move to a place, or they have a fight encounter. Out of this pillar, they come out with the second piece of the problem, which makes them the experts about the problem and provides them with a solution of the problem. Then they have the final encounter, which is normally a boss fight, and then they get the reward. And if you do this, you have around, let's say, with a little description, little interaction with some NPCs that you prepared for, you have around 4 to 5 hours of pleasure, and you have very satisfied players at the end. I hope this helped you, and yeah, I'm done for today. Thank you for your attention, thank you for your time, and if you liked this video, leave me a like. If you subscribe, you will find more videos, and if you have something to say, please tell it to me in the comments. See you then. Bye bye, bye bye.